title of the lab and the goal. How about Marvin?
Goal number 1, chemical weathering lab. Goal number 1, to observe chemical weathering by soaking a copper penny in a salt and vinegar solution.
Great. So, our goal is to observe a chemical weathering by soaking a penny in a salt and vinegar solution. How can we annotate this? What do we understand? What do we know? Hey, I know that. And underline and make maybe an exclamation point. What part here do you guys know? Go ahead and underline something that you think you know that you understand about this goal. All right? Go ahead. Underline if you want to remember what our annotations are. They're on the back wall over there. So you can just take a look if you don't remember. If you have a question, you don't know what that word means, write a question mark next to it. I see people annotating. Very nice. Some question marks are going up. Okay. All right. So how about we go together and see what we think is important about this, what we annotated. So to observe chemical weathering by soaking a copper penny in a salt and vinegar solution. Who knows and understands something about that? Xavier.
To observe.
Okay, to observe. What does observe mean? You know what that means?
Like to find something out.
Maybe to find something out. How would we find something out? Lance.
Look, feel, touch, like sensory details.
Sensory details. Very good. So maybe let's make an exclamation point and observe, and we can write in sensory details. So like, what does it see? How do you see it? What does it look like? Sensory details. Okay. What else do we know? What else is on here? How about to observe chemical weathering? Is chemical weathering something we've been learning about?
Yeah.
Yeah? Jihad. Zoom in. Okay. Zoom.
Right there on the side.
Right here?
Yeah.
Do it?
No.
Twisted.
Oh. Brighter, darker?
No, here.
Thank you, Melissa.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there. Okay. Great. Okay, thank you. Okay. To observe chemical weathering, who can tell me what chemical weathering is? Kennedy.
It's when something physical happens to rocks.
It could be a physical reaction. What's happening to the rock in weathering?
It breaks down.
It breaks down. So the weathering part we definitely get, right? So let's write rocks break down. Rocks break down. How about the chemical part? Is that different from physical weathering?
Using acids and stuff.
Okay, so you're using acid. So the chemical part means you're changing the composition of that rock somehow. It's a chemical reaction. It's not physical like a tree's roots going in and cracking that rock apart. Something is actually happening inside the rock to change that rock. Good. How about this part? Soaking a copper penny in a salt and vinegar solution. Solution? Is anyone curious about what solution means? Let's put a question mark.
I know what it means.
Okay, maybe some of us aren't sure. I'm going to underline
I
solution.
know what it means.
Okay, Lance, what does it
It
mean?
means answer.
The acid, it is referring to the acid, but what's a solution?
It's the answer.
Someone other than Kennedy, and then if no one gets it, Kennedy will come back to you.
Answer.
Yes, a solution could mean answer. Next time, raise hand, please. But yes, solution could mean answer to a problem. In this case, it means something different. It's a liquid, and something is dissolved into that liquid. Is that what you're going to guess, Kennedy? Yeah? Any other thoughts about that?
Solution as in a result.
It could be a result too, but in this case, we're going to be using the liquid definition. So like, who here has ever dissolved salt into water? For cooking, or maybe wanted to gargle with it. Yeah, you created a salt solution, a saline solution when you mixed it into water. So we're going to be mixing what into water?
Salt.
Salt and
Vinegar.
Vinegar, very good. So we definitely need the salt and vinegar in there. Do we use the, what's our important symbol? Star? Let's put a star next to that. Yes.
I did this before. It was to make like Arby's or something. But when you put salt and vinegar together, started bubbling, you know.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
when you shake it up, you gotta shake it up. That's when it starts.
Interesting. We'll see if that happens in our lab. We'll take a look. Okay, so to observe chemical weathering by soaking a copper penny in a salt and vinegar solution, we need to make that solution. But what else do we add into that solution? What else do we need in this experiment? We have the salt, we have the vinegar, we need the pennies. Let's make a star next to the copper penny. There we go. Does that look pretty annotated? Does anyone else have any comments? Yes, Xavier.
Don't you have to have the water too?
Well, we will use water later on in the experiment, but the vinegar has actually some water in it. It's dilute, which means the vinegar is an acid, but it's a weak acid. So we're going to make it a stronger acid. All right, let's move on. Initial observations. What does initial mean? No? How about before? Before we start, these are what we are observing about the penny. So before we do anything else, we're going to observe that penny to see what it looks like. Because if you don't see what it looks like at the beginning, can we know if it changed? No. So we have to see what it looks like before anything happens. So when you get your penny, you're just going to observe it. So could you please read number 1, Joshua?
I observed that the copper penny.
Okay. So what am I going to ask you to write in there? What do you think?
Your
Joshua?
hypothesis?
Not a hypothesis yet. What does it say? I
Oh, sorry.
observe. Yes, Lance.
You'll see you'll write down what you see.
You write down what you see. What does that penny look like? If you want to smell it, go ahead. What does that penny smell like? Do you want to taste it? I wouldn't recommend tasting it, but if you really wanted to, you could say what it tastes like, but I don't recommend it. So I observed that the copper penny, and please write a full sentence or 2 sentences about what that penny looks like. Number 2, who would like to read number 2? Alyssa.
Draw a picture before it is put into the salt and vinegar solution.
Okay, so what's that asking you to do, Alyssa?
Draw a picture
Draw a picture of what?
of the penny.
Very good. So draw a picture of that penny. Please use details, because otherwise it'll be hard to see how it changed, right? We're not taking a picture of the penny, we're drawing it. So use as many details as you can. Okay. Finally, once we have done all of that, we're going to actually put the penny into our solution, and I'll explain that in a minute. So how about the last number 3? Once we've done the procedure, what are we going to do? Someone, yes, Kelly.
Predict how it looks like.
Right, so could you read number 3, please?
I predict that when we soak the copper penny in the salt and vinegar solution.
Good, so I predict. Let's underline predict. What does predict mean? Anyone? Someone else? Okay. Fine,
To guess.
To guess. So a guess, an educated guess, right? Based on what you've learned about chemical weathering. So I predict, I guess that when we soak the copper penny, what am I going to ask you to write there?
You guess.
Xavier.
You're going to write what your guesses
About what?
about what would happen to the penny.
Well, what's going to happen to the penny? Very good. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right, I'm going to explain how we're going to conduct this experiment. You are going to receive a piece of tape, and you're going to write you and your partner's name on it so that you can put it onto your graduated cylinder. So put your tape up here at the top, please, at the top of your graduated cylinder. Then leave it alone. You are going to take your penny, which is over here. You're going to take your penny and you're going to observe it. Write down what it looks like, write down all the details you can think of, and then draw a picture of it. If you've done all of that, you're going to put the penny into the graduated cylinder. Then you're going to take a funnel. We don't have enough funnels for everyone, so you're going to have to wait maybe a little while for your funnel. So while you're waiting, what I'd like you to do is put a little bit of salt on top of your penny, right? Put a little bit, only enough to kind of cover it. Don't dump a lot of salt on top, just a little. Then once your team has gotten your funnel, put the funnel in, and you're going to have a cup with the vinegar in it. You're going to pour the vinegar very gently into your funnel up until about, the 20 milliliter line. If it goes to the 30 milliliter line, that's still okay. But you don't want very much, just a little bit. Is that clear? Everyone see? Just about to there. Okay, and then we're going to wait. We're going to take our graduated cylinder to the back of the room like the last class did, and we're going to leave it. And once the reaction takes place, we can see what happens. Any questions? No. Is it clear? I need a volunteer to come up and pass out the tape. Xavier, come on up. You didn't want to? Alyssa, come up. All right. And I need another volunteer, Kennedy and Samantha. Come with me to the back, please. Give them about this much. I will pick a boy.